Have you ever stopped in absolute silence to really think about why you write? Why is it that when you reach out for something, you unconsciously choose one side of your body, as if something in you knows better? Have you ever noticed that you always touch or reach with one hand more often, instinctively, without any analysis? This seemingly small gesture so familiar that we don't notice it can hide much more than just a habit. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, believed that our symbolic actions, involuntary movements, even the choice of the hand in which we hold a pen or a cup can be a window into the depths of the unconscious. The unconscious that holds our archetypes, family history, shadows, and potentials that we often have no idea about. Now imagine, your dominant hand is not just the result of biology or accidental convenience. What if it was a symbol? An echo of an ancient experience. A message from within. An indication of the part of you that controls not only movement, but also the way you think, the way you feel the world. Left or right, perhaps they show not only physical superiority, but also suggest which side you have an open entrance to the depths of the self. Where your ancestors' prints are stored, your inner path, your psychic language, everything you are even before you began to realize it. Get ready to look into the invisible dimension, the one that manifests itself not in words but in gestures. In your most instinctive, most imperceptible movements. In the choice of the hand you extend to the world. This seemingly mundane act, choosing your right or left hand, can be nothing more than a whisper from your soul. A mirror reflecting your hidden power, your shadow, your vector of development. Your preferred hand is not just a tool. It is a map, a clue, a key to the depths you have been avoiding until now. It can reveal your gifts that you have not yet accepted. It can point out blind spots that control you unnoticed, and even hint where your soul is directed, to the right into action, control, logic, or to the left into sensations, intuition, shadow. Remember, the body always speaks before the mind has time to think. And your hand, it has been talking to you all along. It whispered because of habits, shouted because of tension. It was silently guiding you. Are you ready to finally stop and listen? To hear the message that has been waiting for your attention for a long time? Have you ever stopped to really realize which hand is the leading hand? Which one you use to instinctively reach for a cup, touch your face, open the door to the world? This is not just a physical convenience. It is not an accidental skill. It is a trace of an inner choice that you don't remember making, but which is deeply woven into who you are. What if this seemingly mundane preference for one hand was not just a matter of anatomy or habit? What if it was a gesture that encoded something much more? Perhaps this is a manifestation of your psyche, the deep architecture of yourself, which speaks to you through your body because it has no other way to reach you. I invite you to a dimension that usually remains in the shadows, a space where every movement, every automatic decision turns out to be a mirror reflecting the inner reality. A space where the right or left hand becomes a symbol, a vector, a hint. The choice is not only physical but also energetic. The truth hidden in the simplest gesture. Carl Jung, the seer of the subconscious, may not have written directly about the dominance of the hands, but his entire life was devoted to deciphering such subtle signs. He believed that the unconscious does not remain silent. It speaks through the body, dreams, symbols, and repetition. And the body, as the oldest carrier of truth, always speaks. You just have to learn to listen. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious is not just a theory. It is a hypothesis about the deep connection between all people through universal images, symbols, and experiences that we unconsciously inherit. It's like an underground river that flows beneath each of us, connecting our personal stories with the history of all humanity. And through this inner language, the language of meanings, archetypes, and gestures, the world communicates with us. And it is our hands, our constant companions in interaction with reality, that are among the loudest speakers of this language. They are not just tools. They are an extension of the will. They create and destroy. They save and repel. They build bridges and at the same time draw borders. Throughout our existence, hands have been saturated with symbolism. They contain the power of divine creation and human struggle. Hands have meant power, destiny, and vocation. With an open palm we meet others. With a clenched one we protect ourselves. With an outstretched hand we seek connection. With our hand on our hearts we seem to be saying, "This is my truth, this is my intention, this is the real me." All of these are not just traditions. These are rituals that the body lives through in response to something deeper, older than ourselves. And when we stop to look at our own hands, carefully as if for the first time, we are looking into a mirror in which something ancient recognizes itself. In many spiritual and mystical traditions, the right hand is considered a symbol of intelligence, clarity of action, and an ordered and conscious world. It is the personification of logic, structure, and willpower, which leads us to the outer space to action and results. The left hand, on the other hand, is often associated with intuition, the secrets of the subconscious, with that invisible but powerful force that hides in the shadows. It is connected with the unconscious, with spiritual mysticism, with the inner world, where sensations and symbols reign supreme. Don't you feel echoes of your own experience in these opposites? These two poles, light and shadow, logos and eros, ego and shadow, are precisely the heart of Jung's vision of the structure of the psyche. They are not enemies but complements of each other, creating wholeness together. What if the dominance of one hand was not an accident, but a symbol that speaks of the natural movement of your soul in the world? The movement that leads you to your true essence. People who lead with their right hand often radiate the persistent, clear, radiant energy of the hero, an archetype that fights, acts, and changes the world. Those who choose the left hand may reflect the inner wisdom, the deep knowledge of a mystic or sage who looks deep within themselves and seeks meaning beyond the visible. However, the symbolism does not stop at the simple division of hands into right and left. In the Jungian psychology of individuation, a complex and delicate process that leads a person to recognize and accept their true self, the key is to balance these inner forces and opposites. What if you have unconsciously overnourished only one side throughout your life, the side that corresponds to your dominant hand? What if this habitual choice has become not just a preference, but a net that limits your integrity? We live in a world where our every move, gesture, and word is scrutinized, weighed, judged, and sometimes rejected. This invisible pressure penetrates the depths of ourselves, forcing us to hide those parts of ourselves that seem alien, undesirable, or insufficient for social acceptance. We sew ourselves masks, put on roles, construct images not always consciously, and sometimes even automatically, as a defense mechanism to keep us safe and secure. But this struggle for acceptance sometimes distances us from the truth of our own souls, breaking the connection with our true selves, with the authenticity that wants to come out. In this process of confusion and self-denial, we lose the most valuable thing: inner harmony and integrity, which are the foundation of a healthy psyche and vitality. True courage is not always about loud feats or brilliant deeds in public, not about a stage and applause. Rather, it is inner silence, calmness, and endurance in those moments when the soul is screaming and the heart is torn apart. True courage is accepting yourself fully and completely, with all your vulnerability, imperfection, and truth. It is to allow yourself to be who you are, without masks, without deception. Often we hide our deepest feelings because we are afraid that we will not be understood, that we will be rejected, that we will be judged. But these feelings are the source of our true living essence, our humanity and strength. When you allow yourself to be real for the first time, without masks and protection, you open the door to the depths of life, with all its lights and shadows. And in this depth, even pain ceases to be a punishment, it becomes a path that leads to healing, to growth and inner transformation. This pain does not always manifest itself through screaming or obvious signs. It often hides quietly inside us, like a shadow that silently accompanies our every step. It does not attract attention, does not scream, but it never disappears completely, it remains invisible but tangible. We learn to live with this pain. Sometimes we get so used to its presence that we begin to consider it an integral part of our reality, as if it were meant to be. But this pain is not an enemy, a threat, or a punishment. It is a messenger, a silent messenger of our soul. It does not come to destroy or break us, but to draw our attention to what we often ignore, suppress, or postpone. This pain is a signal that indicates that there are unhealed wounds, hidden fears, unclosed pages in our history that are waiting to be realized and accepted. Those who dare to stay close to their pain without running away or avoiding it, open the door to a deeper dimension of their own self. For it is in the darkest corners of our souls that true light is born, that which can heal and liberate. It is where we are most afraid to look that our true liberation grows, the power that frees us from the shackles of the past and inner limitations. This does not mean consciously seeking out suffering or immersing ourselves in it. It means not losing touch with yourself when the pain has already come. It means allowing yourself to be present in the moment, to give yourself space for silence, for accepting your truth. It means giving yourself permission not to be strong all the time, not to hide weakness, not to mask pain. To give yourself the love you have been missing, unconditional, tender, accepting. Transformation does not always come in the form of a bright explosion or a triumphant moment. Often it is a quiet, gentle moment of realization when you sit alone or in silence, hugging yourself, and realize that you are okay even if you are still in pain.